Welcome to the official Tales from Tellis Trading Card Game tutorial video. In this video, you'll learn the official rules of how to play and guide yourself to victory. In this game, you are playing as one of the 5 gods of Tellis, wielding arcane weaves, duelers, creatures, relics, and civilization cards to outmatch your opponent and drain their arcane points. Each competitor will start with 3 to 5 arcane points, which signifies their life points. For official tournament rules, please start with 4 arcane points each. Write down each competitor's name and 4 circles next to their name to indicate their lives. When a competitor loses an arcane point, please color in one of their circles. When all their circles are colored in, they've lost all their lives. In the upcoming Slippery Skirmish Expansion, you can force your opponent to discard a card from their hand. If they don't have a card in their hand to discard, they'll lose an arcane point, unless otherwise indicated. You'll lose an arcane point when your dueler is depleted to 0 health. When your dueler's defeated, you'll lose an arcane point, and when a duo card is defeated, you'll lose 2. However, if you're playing a creature card and they're defeated, you will not lose an arcane point, so don't worry. Now that we know how to claim victory, let's head over to the setup. Before you can duel, you'll need a deck. Each deck may contain 8 to 10 dueler cards and 8 to 10 support cards. Support cards are easy to spot. They're indicated by the giant support tag on the card. Creatures, arcane weaves, relics, and civilization cards are all support cards to play. You can have up to 2 copies of each card in your deck, unless a card has the unique tag indicated by this little star. You can only have 1 of those in each deck. Once each player has their deck, they'll shuffle it and place it down. Then they'll draw 5 cards and roll a d6 to decide who goes first. If you did not draw a dueler in your initial hand, you must reveal your hand to your opponent, shuffle it, and draw again until you have at least 1 dueler. For the most successful gameplay, you should keep track of everybody's arcane points, all the dueler and creature's health points, using scratch paper or dice as damage indicators. We are now ready to take our first turn. In the first round, there is no combat phase action. No attacks or combat abilities may be used by either player. First, play a dueler into one of the 2 dueler zones. Next, you can play a support card. Usually, players choose to use a civilization, attach a relic, or a creature to their dueler. Just make sure your dueler has the soul bridge option or a passive ability that allows them to have a bonded creature. You may only play 1 support card per turn, unless otherwise indicated. The support phase is always optional. You don't have to play a support card. When you've completed your turn, you can draw a card. Then the second player can do the same. Just remember, no damage can be dealt or taken during the first turn. Now that the first turn is completed, we can talk about official turn order. Each turn follows 4 phases. The first phase is the recruit phase. You can play a dueler into one of your 2 dueler zones if you wish to do so. You may have a maximum of 2 duelers active at a time or 1 duo. If your opponent attacks and you have no active dueler, you'll lose an arcane point, so make sure you have a dueler ready to defend you at all times. The second phase of your action is the support phase, where you can play a support card if you wish to do so. It is not required. If you play a creature card, an arcane weave card, a relic card, or a civilization card, its buffs will be applied immediately. Each dueler may have a maximum of 1 support card attached to them at a time. For example, a Theron card can have a slip attached to him, and that's it. No further card may be attached. Civilization cards, however, are not attached to duelers, therefore they do not count. One thing we must note is that once a dueler or a creature has been played, they cannot be taken out from the field unless indicated by a special ability. Now that the support phase action is done, we can move on to the combat phase. During the combat phase action, you can choose one of your duelers to attack. Announce which of your duelers is attacking, and which opposing card is being targeted before you roll your action. Resolve the attack by adding up all the buffs and rolling the appropriate die, calculating the damage and subtracting the damage from the target's health. Let's talk about abilities which affect the combat phase action. Some of your duelers may have a giant P on their card, which indicates the passive ability. This is always applied, unless blocked by another dueler. Some of your characters may have this fist on their card. That's a combat ability. Combat abilities can be used instead of attacking. If your dueler has both an Arcana attack and a melee attack, you'll choose one of them. You'll also only choose one of your duelers to attack for your combat phase. In order to assist the flow of gameplay, you must keep track of your own passive abilities. If your turn passes and you forgot to apply one, unfortunately it cannot be backtracked. To finish your turn, you'll draw a card. This card cannot be used until your next turn. Now that you know how to deal damage, you and your opponent will go back and forth, trading blows until one player loses all their arcane points and loses the duel. Now let's talk about the anatomy of each card. Duelers are your main combatants. Each has health points, indicated here. Each dueler has a class, indicated here. A dueler will have an Arcana attack or a melee attack. Some may have both to choose from. Your dueler might also have a passive ability or a combat ability. Creature cards act like duelers, but they cannot be played alone. They must be soul bridge bonded to a dueler. When a creature is defeated, you do not lose an arcane point, unless otherwise indicated on their card. Thanks to the buff of a support card or a passive ability, your dueler or creature may receive half damage. Let's look at this scenario. Philadrius has 8 health. His passive ability, Ice Wall, grants him a 50% chance to reduce incoming melee damage by half. Let's say you get lucky and you roll even, and Philadrius takes 3 melee damage. Well, halved will round that up, so he'll only take 2. Civilization cards are strong support cards to play. Don't worry, your strong civilization bonus is only applied to your duelers. Each player may only have one civilization card active at each time. Be careful, some duelers may have an ability that allows the destruction of an opponent's civilization card. Relics and Arcane Weave cards are powerful one-use support cards. Unless stated otherwise, you should discard these cards after their use in the discard pile. Some Relic and Arcane Weave cards require being attached to a dueler to use. In order to do this, please make sure nothing else is attached to that dueler. Defeated duelers and used support cards may go in the discard pile. And that concludes the basics of the gameplay. If you're still shaky on how to play, don't worry. Sometimes the best way to learn is by watching gameplay. So let's watch some. I've just drawn my 5 cards, and I've got a Pimbo, a Void Meteorite, a Castle of Aria, a Pimbo and String Bean Duo, and a Helfie. My Pimbo and String Bean Duo has the most health and the most damage, but if it's defeated, I'll lose 2 of my lives. So I'm gonna hold off, and instead I'm gonna play a Pimbo during my Dueler Recruit phase, and then a Castle of Aria during my support phase. Then I'll draw a card to end my first turn. Player 2 is using a Moonfolk deck and chooses to play Lyra as their dueler. For the support phase, player 2 chooses to use the Ice Shape card and assign it to Pimbo, which will block him from attacking next turn. Then player 2 draws. With that Ice Shape card on Pimbo, we should play another dueler. So we're going to play Helfie. For the support phase, we'll play a Void Meteorite for maximum damage. Helfie does 2 damage, and our Void Meteorite rolled a 1, so that's a total of 3 damage. Now we'll draw a card to end our turn. Because of Lyra's passive ability, if she rolls a 5 or 6, she can block melee damage. Unfortunately for player 2, that block didn't work, so Lyra is down to 4 health. During the recruit phase, player 2 decides to play Azure. Azure has Soul Bridge, which allows a slip to be attached. Azure does a base 1d4 plus 1 damage. Add Slip to that, and now he does 1d4 plus 2, and he rolled a 3. That's 5 damage. Uh-oh, my Pimbo's in trouble. The game would go on until someone loses all their arcane points. Our first Tales from Tellis Trading Card Game set, the Lunathal Base Set, is based on the all-ages book, The Fall from Lunathal. The book's motto is that life is a gift. This project started out as a small dream. Thank you for your support, and stay tuned. Set 2 is coming.